And exciting, blue and pop.
Family, experience, creativity.
Chaotic, 21A9ED, and fulfilling.
3 words to describe Youth Choice. I'd say fun, fast-paced and energetic.
Fun, real and professional, despite being amateur.
Upbeat, fast-paced and fun.
Encouraging, teamwork, enthusiastic.
3 words to describe Youth Choice. First one, hectic, a lot and rewarding.
I'd tell myself to be confident in what I'm talking about and not to be scared to get involved because everyone is on the same page.
So I would tell my day one self here at the Academy to just be confident in everything you do, in going up to people and kind of interviewing them. And also don't worry about what other people think. You are doing you, and as much as it can give you kind of anxiety or whatever, literally just go for it, because people will remember you for what you did instead of your mess ups here.
If I could tell myself something when I first started, it'd be just go for it. Make mistakes, just learn from it, and then see where you'll get to.
If I could go back to the past, I'd tell myself that you made a good decision to join Youth Choice, because now I'm actually going to be a producer as a job next year. So yeah.
I'd tell myself to just not be afraid to get stuck into anything and everything possible, and that no one is judging you.
If I could go back in time to my first day at Youth Choice, I would say don't panic. I think my first day I was panicking and made some silly mistakes. There were some words that I couldn't pronounce on the radio and they just came out completely horrific. So yeah, make sure you search on Google how to pronounce a person's name before you read it out.
If I was to say something to my first day self at Youth Choice, I'd say allow it. The procrastination is not needed. Do it, and don't be so quiet, just speak, and don't waffle. Which is what I'm doing now, so it didn't work.
One moment I'll never forget is when we were doing the Christmas broadcast for Youth Choice and I had to eat a Brussels sprout covered in chocolate because I thought it was a Ferrero Rocher.
I think one moment that I'll never forget here at Youth Choice was when I first started, and because I was doing a live show, I kind of needed assistance with running the desk at first. So I had one of the year 13 sit in with me. And then as a link was about to come on, like it was a minute away, they left the studio saying that they were going to come back. And they just didn't. They left me and to do the whole link and run the desk by myself. I was so nervous because I was like, even though it's a late show, I was just so nervous to do it live. Like, what if I mess up? What if something happens? But yeah, after I did the link, after I ended it, everything went well. They came in, I was like, you did well. I was listening from outside Bo. I will never forget that. That scared me and gave me so much anxiety, but it actually helped a lot. Yeah, that's something that I'll never forget.
One moment I'll never forget is when I found out that both of our radio stations decided to go down, and I had to spend weeks rebuilding all of them to make it so our presenters could actually present the show.
Another moment which I think was really memorable was like finally getting a live show, because I remember like the whole of year 12 I was begging to get a live show, and at the time I was like, oh, I'm not good enough, but it was actually good because I think I built so much knowledge about radio and stuff. And I remember the first time I sat in the live studio and did my own show, it was like the best feeling ever. After I was like, yeah, this is like something I really want to do. And yeah, I think I was proud of myself to finally get to that point and be a live presenter. So yeah.
One moment I'll never forget is probably the Christmas broadcast, because it was absolute mayhem and we were all over the place, but it came together in the end.
One Youth Choice moment I will never forget. Cool. I remember this one. Yeah, so the one Youth Choice moment I'll never forget is when we were just finished an event and Conrad was so happy that it went well. he decided to do a cartwheel down the walkway. That is one thing I'll never forget. And also another thing actually on cartwheels, I'll never forget, there was this one student during the Halloween event we did, and they decided to try and do a cartwheel and crashed into the posts. And I got caught on camera laughing at them, which was not good. It was not good vision for the school, but I think everyone was laughing. It was only teachers who took it seriously. But they tried to be cool and do a cartwheel down the catwalk. This is like before Conrad did it, and they knocked all the pillar posts down, and it was just carnage.
One moment that was most memorable was my first ever show on Youth Choice live. Really scared, but locked in, and I aced it. So big up. And my second memorable moment was getting Sammy, cameraman, on my show for one of my links. And he doesn't actually speak, and I was really scared, but I said, Sammy, you're amazing. Gave him some pep talk, and he said, no, and he did it. And he ate down, left no crumbs. Very memorable.
Radio still matters because it gives people a voice and allows them to relate to other people.
I think in this day and age, radio matters, especially because it kind of gets you off the screen, where we're all kind of attached to our phones and attached to our laptops and everything. Radio is kind of a different way to connect with a whole community without actually having to be tied down to having to scroll, having to actually constantly look down at your phone or something. You can find a great presenter that you align with, and there's just a lot of things that go into radio that's just amazing. So yeah, I think radio is just really relevant today.
Radio still matters because it's a place where people can speak, spread their wisdom and their thoughts without having any consequences, really. So it just gives everyone that safe space to be able to say what they want and teach other people and to be taught things.
Radio matters because I feel like it brings a sense of community, and yeah, it gives something everyone can speak about. Like, say if everyone listens to a breakfast show, they can all speak about it at work or school, and yeah, I think hopefully it doesn't die off, because I think radio is something really special and it should continue to be a main sort of listening thing for music. So yeah.
Radio still matters because I can do the stats here. I think it's 29 million listeners a week, global gets, and then there's something like 34 out of 5 adults, I'm quoting statistics here, listen to audio or radio in some form or another. It's still massively important. You know, everybody has the radio on. It's the first thing they do when they get in the car, and then that's branched out into podcasting and online audio that people listen to and, you know, consume from when they're that big through to when they're adults. And it's one of the few mediums where, you know, it does take you from childhood right the way through your life, and there's different brands and different things available that, you know, suit you in your stage of life. And it's a fantastic medium, easy to put together. It's less technical requirements than visual stuff, and it's great for one-to-one. It's so intimate, people understand, and we have a connection with radio presenters, podcast presenters, and that's so important.
Radio still matters because it builds a sense of community, and it also brings people together and allows them to be themselves.
Well, I think radio is still very current. It does matter because, you know what, some people are so lazy they can't bother to connect Spotify to their car. So it's still in the car. It's like, you know, you go to a shopping centre or whatever, you know, you come here, it's blasted into your ears without you even knowing, really. Sometimes it's just whatever's there. So radio is very much important because it's still within our society and still around. Just need to have the right people.
Radio still matters because it gets people out there, gets people talking, and people who might not want to say some stuff think it's quite embarrassing. They don't realise that the most famous presenters out there go through the same struggle. And that's on period.
Just do it. No one goes on air on a radio station or in their first show and sounds fantastic. The greatest presenters in the world had to start somewhere, and that starts by you just opening the mic, saying something, pressing play on the next track, and that's job done. And from that moment you just roll on and on and on. But the first step is always the most important.
If someone was nervous, I would say get comfortable in being uncomfortable. because that's really how you make progress in anything that you do. And yeah, it's going to be the best experience when you are feeling that sort of anxiety. You just got to sit with yourself for a second and just be like, okay, like I know I'm feeling this way, but it will benefit me in the future. So yeah.
If someone was nervous, I'd say just try it and see how you feel about it, because yeah, it is nerve-wracking. Or even suggest to like the managing editors, whoever's running the station, maybe ask them if you can do like a pre-rec show to sort of build confidence if you feel like live may be a bit scary, because I think that's a really good way to build your experience as a producer and as a presenter, because you sort of learn how to do live, but it's not as stressful. So yeah.
If someone was nervous to get involved, I'd say no one's judging you, everyone has the same level of experience, and just have some fun.
If you were nervous to get involved with Youth Choice, then firstly I'd say don't be. Try not to be. I know it's only natural. The team are very, very supportive. You've got a great lineup for the future when our Year 13s leave. Very supportive management team. Mark's very supportive. You go to him and ask how do I do this? What show plan? What items would work? What wouldn't work in your show? Unfortunately, there's no changing the playlist, so you're there with whatever's in the log of songs. But if you were nervous to get involved, I mean, I think that sometimes throws people off, because obviously I think you're going in assuming, oh, I'm going to get to choose all my own songs and everything like that. No, it's station set the songs, and you're merely there to entertain and keep people company throughout that hour or 2 hours, 3 hours, however long you're doing it. So if you're nervous, I'd say if you go to, even if you do get, I'm hoping you get past the sign up process. When you go to the first meeting, just say hi, introduce yourself. You're going to be new. The Year 12s who are here next year who want to get involved, the Year 10s, the Year 11s, and just genuinely just go and talk to the management team. No questions are stupid questions. So just ask the question. Even if you may think it's stupid, it really isn't. That's how you'll do it. And then on air is a different thing. Nerves are common there.
If someone was nervous to come on to Youth Choice, I'd say, don't be nervous. And that's it.
Hi, I'm Liv, and I'm the managing editor and presenter here at Youth Choice. How I first got involved was in Year 12 when I first joined. I signed up to be a presenter in Youth Choice, as I'd never seen a school have a radio station before. What I love most about my role is the responsibility, and it also gives me great experience for the future. To keep the team motivated, we like to do things unrelated to radio to keep us working well together. For someone stepping into a leadership role, I would tell them to be very patient and also stay organised and on top of things. My favourite part about being a presenter is being able to talk about topics I'm really interested in, and also sharing my interests with other people.
Hi, I'm Conrad, and I'm the station manager of Youth Choice. For me, Youth Choice is all about the connectivity and getting to meet loads of other people, and also working on a big project and working all together on it to expand and create something new. I think Youth Choice really stands out because it's something different. It's not something you see every place you go to, and it just gives everyone a chance to come together and learn something new. The hardest part about running Youth Choice would be keep an eye on everything, make sure the music is up to date, talking to people to get everything sorted out, make sure presenters are doing all the shows, and just making sure everyone's happy. I hope students take away the fact that you're able to mess things up and make mistakes. There'll be consequences, but not as big as if you're doing it in the real place. So having that chance to mess around with things and learn new things without the worries of making something, just breaking everything. in the future, I hope Youth Choice will have partnerships with other companies, being able to grow and expand our reach and just be able to speak to new people.
Hi, I'm Jess. I'm a presenter and a producer on Youth Choice. I got involved in Youth Choice in year 12. I just thought I'd apply for everything within the school, and Youth Choice ended up being one that I really wanted to do. So I did like my interview, and I got a spot on the show, on the station, and I had 2 shows on the weekend, and yeah. For me, I present 3 shows myself, and then I also produce for other people. So Ella and Acacia, I produce their 2 shows on Thursday and Friday. So I basically just find their content, come up with games, and I also do all of their like segging and stuff. So yeah. My favourite thing about being a presenter is it really builds your confidence. I feel like you can really express yourself. If you like music, if you like talking about pop culture or anything that's going on online, I think it's a really good way to sort of get your passion out, and yeah. One thing that I think is really funny that has happened to me, I was producing for Ella and Acacia, and I remember something happened with Zeta, and it ended up like every time they were trying to speak, the music would cut them out, and it's because I forgot to put it on Live Assist, and it was like every single link I thought I fixed it, and then like the music would just cut them off, and it was so funny. Like we were just laughing the whole show, and we ended up only doing like 1 link for the whole hour because it just completely messed it up. Just put yourself out there, like don't be scared if you are nervous or anything, just try it because you might really enjoy it. And I think as well, if you struggle with confidence, I think being a presenter is a really good way to build that, because you learn how to speak on radio and sort of get relationships from people that aren't actually in front of you, it's actually the listeners. And I think as well, if you want to be a producer, just get as much experience as you can. Just ask people if you want to produce for them, and yeah.
Hi, I'm Mark Pendergast. I work at Global Academy and I look after Youth Choice. Well, we started Youth Choice fairly obvious really, because we're sponsored by Global. Global have many a radio station, more than ever now. So we started Youth Choice to be a feeder into Global's main radio stations and reflect what Global do. We hope students will walk away with a real understanding of what goes into producing a radio station, particularly the back office stuff like playlisting, creating imaging, producing, and of course presenting, which is the most fun part of it. But have a real understanding of the whole process that goes into making a radio station, and more importantly, making a radio station sound professional and really tight and really good. The best part of seeing Youth Choice grow is, well, easy for you to find out. Just listen to any national brand that Global has got, be it from Classic through to Heart, through to Capital, and there'll be some imprint of former Global Academy and Youth Choice staff on there, be it the imaging, so all the jingles and sweepers you hear on all national stations. Pretty much it's one of our former students who's working on that, right through to in-studio production and even presenting in the shape of DJ Dynamic, real name D'Angelo, who's on air on Capital Extra right now. I think Youth Choice really helps students because it gives them a real solid understanding of what goes into the behind the scenes of a radio station. We run it in a similar style to Global. We're very tight on our playlists, we're very tight on our scheduling. We create a lot of our own imaging as well, which is very, very important. So people have a real understanding of what goes into a radio station. It's not just a case of walking into a room, playing your favourite songs and talking a load of nonsense in between. It's a lot more involved in that. It's a lot more detailed, and we really get that across. So I think one moment we're really proud of on Youth Choice is when we entered the International Student Broadcast Competition. We were up against university stations from America through to Australia, through to the Philippines. We pretty much swept the board there with what we did. And we were doing that with students who were probably 2, 3, 4 years younger and everybody else who was entered in. So that was a big moment, and also to do it on the international stage was important. And then prior to that, we won the Young Audio Awards, we've won the Student Broadcast Association Awards, we've won even at the New York Radio Awards. So we're on the right direction. So that's the moment where you know you're doing something right, and the students in particular are definitely doing something right. Although when students leave, they'll remember Youth Choice as their first sort of step on the ladder, if you like. And then Sudu, who actually came up with the idea of Youth Choice way back in 2016, 2017. She works at Global now full time. So the legacy is there for all to see, and a lot of Youth Choice presenters, producers, image creators, and the video channels we've got now, all those people have gone on to work at Global. So that's the legacy, the fact that they're stepping into paid work in the radio and in the media industry.
Hi, I'm Sonia and I'm the co-head of imaging at Youth Choice. My role involves making the imaging for the station, which is the piece of audio that comes between two songs that lets you know which station you're listening to, as well as promos for any events or cultural events that may be happening. I work with the whole of the team to make sure the station is kept up to date, but specifically the head of events to promote any events that may be happening around the school. I'd say the most exciting and challenging part of the job is staying creative and coming up with new ways to create imaging while still keeping the feel of Youth Choice. I think listeners should feel happy as well as comfortable listening to the station. They should see themselves reflected in the music and the imaging that is played.
My name is Irvin Judge and I'm Head of Creative and Events at Youth Choice. So my role at Youth Choice is looking after the creative aspects, so the photo shoots, all the kind of like design stuff sometimes, in terms of like sometimes how the studio looks, not massively. I mean, I mainly focus on events, so making sure like event coordination. So for example, when we had Youth Choice, we had the Global Academy Pride Party with Youth Choice, so it was bringing the Youth Choice brand into the Pride Party, and it was like having a special Pride mix that the sound design team works on, making sure that Global Academy's Pride Party was playing throughout Youth Choice on that day as well. One idea that I worked on that I really loved was actually the Global Academy Network launch event. I worked on that with Siobhan, and we decided to make it like a proper, big event. Haribos, confetti cannons, everything you name it, music, DJ, everything. So it was for Key Stage 4 when we announced the new networks. Networks are like the house competition, the houses. So we have Capital, Classic, Smooth and Hearts. And it was just bringing that event to life, really. What I'd say to someone who has ideas, creative ideas, and doesn't want to approach anyone, maybe that may be a teacher or a peer who don't want to approach, I'd say you could always send an email. That's not hard, you know, it's just writing. You could just send an email with your idea, you know. In industry, that's probably what you'd do. Or just go to a teacher and pitch it. I know you might not want to, but just go to a teacher, pitch it like a elevator pitch. We actually had someone who came in who from Capital, who did Capital Taylor's version, and they explained the whole process throughout, and the facts that just within one quick 2-minute elevator pitch, his idea became a global sensation.
Hi, I'm Sydney and I'm the brand coordinator at Youth Choice. I got involved with Youth Choice because I came in year 10, but I had to focus on my GCSEs. So when I started sixth form, I said, let me be presenter, show them what I got. Ha! And they said, yeah, sweet. So I started as prereq, learned the basics, and then I went to live. As brand coordinator, I've got to make sure that all the content that goes out on the social platforms is appropriate and fits to the brand that we portray as a student-run radio station. And to balance it with presenting, I've got to make sure that my scripts are all written before I do my shows, and I know what I'm going to talk about and my songs that I'm going to be playing on the show. I stay consistent by keeping the same colour scheme in all of the posts, and we always have the same voiceovers, sound design, and all the same content across all platforms. I think our brand stands out because first point and most important one, we're a student-run radio station. So the management, presenters, news presenters are all students. And secondly, it's a diverse radio station. So everyone comes from different areas, we're all from different backgrounds, and we all just come together because we love radio. Day-to-day life is a week before my show. I would look at my latest content, look at my songs that are on the log, and think what fits to it, how it works, and then write my script, put all the intro, tease, content, all of that, and link it towards my songs. So the outro of each link was seamless. And then before every show, I'd go in at least like 10 minutes before so I can get ready, set up, go through my script once again, and then present. My favourite part about being a presenter is talking on radio for as long as I want, even though I've got an hour. And also I gain confidence on being on the microphone and having other people listen to me. I gain organisation skills and just how the media industry is and how fast-paced it is.
Hi, I'm Acacia, and I'm the social media manager and a presenter here at Youth Choice. I first got involved with Youth Choice when I first came to the academy. So I wanted to sign up for literally everything, whether that be the Loop, Youth Choice, social media, literally anything that I could do, I would do. So they gave me a show quite late after they had given everyone else shows. And the last kind of shows that were available was the 4 till 5 show on, I think it was like a Wednesday, a random Wednesday. That nobody else really wanted because it was live. So whilst everyone was going out, I literally had to stay here and do my live show. But it was really fun. I think it gave me a lot of time to, because no one was in the building, it gave me that sort of personal space to be able to work on how I present, how I talk, without like thinking that anyone was outside kind of listening to me, except Mark. Maybe he was judging me, definitely. But yeah, that's how I got started with radio here. I think social media plays a huge part of Youth Choice because it kind of gives a face to the voice of all our presenters and gets everyone to be able to come together, even if they're nervous to kind of do an on-screen interview because they're so used to being behind a mic and no one's seeing what they look like. Kind of gets them out of their comfort zone. And yeah, it's just really good to kind of promote the station as well. A moment that I felt really proud of my work here at Youth Choice was the 12 days of Youth Choice, which was kind of like a play on words with the 12 days of Christmas. So leading up to Christmas, we created a series. We were able to get like a lot of the presenters to kind of come on and do different challenges and do different interviews and things. We even had a really funny one that we had was the Santa versus Grinch sort of debate, where we gave a bunch of questions to two people who, one was playing Santa, one was playing the Grinch, and they had to argue over sort of like Christmas questions like, is it all right to wear matching pajamas with your family for Christmas, or is it cringy? But yeah, that was very fun. To make sure that the Youth Choice brand is clear on a lot of our social media posts, we usually use a lot of the sort of brand templates that they give to us. So all the sweepers and everything that are very Youth Choice branded. And on radio, we always kind of say, this is on Youth Choice, just to make sure that we have that continuity, that this is Youth Choice and this is the brand. I think the best part of connecting with our audience online is really much building a community that can really engage with the station, engage with our presenters, even when we're doing live shows, like calling out the Youth Choice number and then getting everyone to call or text in. That's just really it promotes engagement with our presenters and the sort of audience that we have. So as a presenter, there's a few things that I kind of have to do before I actually jump on the mic and start talking. So it kind of includes preparation. So you have to have an idea of what you're going to talk about, whether that be something wacky that's happened in the news or some celebrity's done something again. You just got to make sure that first of all, you can talk about it on radio. And second of all, that it's engaging for your audience and that you're not just writing it out in a robot sort of voice, and that you're actually writing it how you speak, or even just writing bullet points. Don't be afraid to kind of stop for a second and just be like, I've forgot what to say. I've done that so many times. It's just a learning curve. You just got to keep going with it. I'd say definitely when you're doing your show plans, write bullet points because it will help you later on. So my favorite part about being a presenter is that I get to kind of get my voice and my face and my name out there. I want to be famous one day. So literally I want to do anything. That can kind of get people to know who I am, or even know kind of what I stand for, the work that I do, and even just promote Youth Choice because it is an amazing brand that I think a lot of people can get involved with here at the Academy, and it kind of builds everyone's confidence as well. Like from the start, I remember I was so nervous, like literally stuttering, didn't know what to say, didn't want to be in front of camera, nothing. But actually doing Youth Choice and actually being a presenter and building up how I can kind of promote myself, it really kind of helped, especially in the working world.